Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
So hey, what's up? Welcome to Twilight.
Hey.
It's tax day when this comes out.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Get it figured out, guys.
I'm so sorry to break that news to you. Unless you don't live in the US, and then what's up?
Yeah. Then you're chill. You're fine.
And then you're chill. Your taxes are probably better than us in so many different ways. How you doing?
I'm here. I'm living. But I had to go deep in my mind palace and was like, what has been the thing that has actually taken over my brain for these last 7 days? In a good or bad way. And that is JoJo Siwa. We got to talk about JoJo Siwa.
God damn it.
I'm sorry. But
no, we have to though.
It's the strongest conviction I have towards something right now.
Listen, what she's going through right now is a canon event.
Completely. Yes. We're in the middle of, in her words, the birth of K-pop. Thank you, JoJo, for doing that. But it's a moment. It's a vibe. It is a cultural moment akin to ones we have seen before, but in a very, very different way. So it feels different, and it's very interesting to watch. I can't stop. That fucking song is stuck in my head.
As someone who didn't watch the reality show that she was on, watching her throughout her life initially started as like, oh, this feels like looking at a kid who's on one of those little like monkey leashes in a mall. And now it feels like I'm rubbernecking looking at a car wreck across the freeway.
Right, and the car has her face stamped on it.
Right, it's all
huge
like
vinyl wrapping.
Glitter, yeah, and rainbowed. I feel so bad for her. Is the thing?
That's the thing, right? Where it's like this is a weird, obviously, she's never been like a normal human being ever for once in her life, and obviously with someone with less of the cultural references or life experience will go, oh, edgy rebrand for sure. What does that look like? Weird, not cool Hot Topic Kiss parody, but also homoerotic, but not in the way that is associated with any of those things. So there's like a lot of strings and lines being crossed here, and being like, just wait till I say fuck, baby. It's like, whoa, okay, like we're getting a little crazy here, JoJo. Okay, but it is fascinating because it's happening in real time, and like even with other rebrands of the past of like, I'm no longer a Disney star, I'm no longer making content catered to children, whatever,
right,
they have always existed in live moments of like the VMAs or other award shows, but not the minute by minute you are seeing someone work through this process of what that means for her, and also failing at that publicly and also earnestly.
No, exactly, because like when this happened before with Lindsay, with Hillary, I was still aspiring to be them. And we didn't have social media in this way. So we weren't getting minute by minute updates. But if I was older than them at this point, my question is, why were adults letting, and I know why, but like, why were adults letting them go to clubs? And why were adults, sexualizing them, right? Yeah. So now that I was never JoJo's demographic.
Right.
Now that I'm seeing it, it's so clearly like, hey, this is fucked.
Yeah.
Why is this happening? And again, folks, I know why. You don't need to fucking get in the comments. Like, I know why.
Yeah.
It's just like, I feel so bad for everything that's happened to her, that it's just like, I want to put her in one of those fucking, like at group, like work retreats, they put people in those like hamster ball things. Like I want to put her in one of those.
Yeah.
While also because she's never had she never got to be a kid. While also recognizing that like some of this, it's a canon event. She just needs to kind of figure out what she wants and have some autonomy. But it's sad. Yeah. But also she thinks that she invented gay pop. So I'm like, I mean, okay.
But yeah, she's really bewitched me these last few weeks.
Yeah, that's valid.
I think we will have a similar reckoning a la Addison Rae of like, maybe it's camp and maybe it's great and we're having a good time and she's having a good time. Absolutely. But also there are other things at play here. But, I'm here to watch it happen. And I'm interested and I'm riveted.
The vague things I know about her is that she's done some like iffy things. I think that is true. And also, that is often common with someone who was not given any sort of parental structure.
Right, for sure.
Where you'd often have to like fuck around and find out when you aren't given an opportunity to be a child. So I think both of those things can be true. I just want her to be okay. And if this is like her authentic self, then great.
Right.
I want to have fun. And I want people to be laughing with her and not at her.
Yeah, that's the main thing. So that's been my dark and twisted mind this week. How are
Unfortunate. You doing? I'm alive. We're finally getting into like 60-degree weather here, and that is a dream.
Yeah.
Love that before it gets into like weather that my body cannot physically tolerate. So it is the dream time. My happy thing is something I never expected to bring. I mean, listen, I've talked about Sean Evans here. That's not a surprise. But specifically the season 23 finale of Hot Ones, which features Conan O'Brien.
Absolutely.
I've talked about this before. I'm not a late night talk show connoisseur, mainly because of the fact that I've never been a late night connoisseur ever.
Right. Yeah.
But this was shockingly amazing for a variety of different reasons. Conan is unreal. He's been in the game literally longer than I've been alive.
Yeah.
But I loved this. One, because he's bringing Irish representation to TV, which I'm always grateful for.
It's so important, yeah.
But more importantly, representation of getting red on TV, which is so rare to find of someone like myself who gets immensely flushed.
Yeah.
But this finale is so important to me. Just one of my favorite things about Hot Ones is just how many bits end up becoming memes that last for a really long time. And this one had a variety of them, one of which I immensely appreciate Conan not wanting to call Max and just still calling it HBO.
Yeah, that was good. Thank you
and
for
I'm very grateful.
Fighting in the fight with us.
I'm going to talk about this show that's premiering on Max, but I'm still going to call it HBO because fuck you. I'm Conan O'Brien. What are you going to do? And notably being an Irish man who theoretically does not have a spice tolerance, brought in and I'm going to say this with heavy quotes, doctor into this episode.
Yeah.
And I think that that's beautiful, and something I absolutely would have done. And I'm very grateful for just all of his goofs and bits. And listen, Conan, you're beautiful and great. Thank you for this gift.
It's been wonderful. And I think too, what is so great, like Conan's always been the GOAT, right? And
Yeah.
I think it makes something like that when he's like a real showman on a show like that, and it's like, fuck yeah, let's play ball, right? And
you want me to eat these wings? I'm gonna put them in my pocket. Fuck you.
Right, yeah, which I love that, very good bit. And then being like, hey, my pockets are full, I need to use someone else's, is very good. But it also like has a re-trigger effect on Twitter, where it's like everyone is like, oh hey, here's every great Conan clip I remember and love.
Yeah.
And then the timeline is good again, because it's just like you've watched 5 hours of Conan clips and you're like, hell yeah, comedy is so back. We're so back. This guy really is the sauce, which is always good to remember. It
is a joy, because there are, especially like, I feel like over the past year, and even with like the resurgence of TikTok, we've seen a lot of comedians who posted a lot of stand-up that's just not good. It's just not good. And so I think it's valuable to see someone who's been in the game this long and just really good at their craft and continues to get better with time. Like fine wine, that man.
Yes.
And I think that is and to see, like, very similar to what you were saying about Twitter, like I was seeing some of his staff talking about how he's a good person, and I think that a lot of the people that I refer to having been in the game that long, there's always this fear of like, oh, that person's just like says a lot of derogatory things, like they're just an asshole, right?
Like you just got to make that assumption in your head.
Right.
That kind of era. Yeah.
And so to know that like not only has this person been in the game this long, continues to evolve, but knowing that they were good to work with, I think is just genuinely hard to find.
Yeah.
And that's just nice to see.
Yeah.
And so to be able to celebrate it when you can is nice. And also I think it's just rare to see someone not knock Sean off their game, because I don't think that you can knock Sean off his game.
He's unflappable,
but like,
for sure.
But to see someone like Conan put hot sauce on his nipples and Sean be like, so anyway, can you tell me about this part on your television? Like, still have to make him do his job is just, it's just great. It's just great TV.
It's really important. Yeah.
It's just great TV, and I understand why they made it the finale. Though I will say, like I said on Twitter, I wish that they would have had one more episode, because the idea of Taylor Swift promoting her upcoming album next week with wings, when this woman, as we know canonically a couple years ago, had not had a burrito, would have been fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But I get
some
it.
seemingly ranch in there. Yeah, we call it a day.
Seemingly, I will literally never forget that. Haunts me to this day.
Yeah.
Just with like what we know is going to be like an emotionally devastating album, to be like, so these wings though, right?
How we feel about that, huh?
Fuck. It's just I would have given anything, you know?
Yeah.
I am very grateful that we only have one piece of current events this week. And we've had some really bad news about this movie as of late. So they really gave this to you. So I'm going to pass the baton, and you can give us some really good current events this week.
God, thank you so much. Pew, 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 pew. We've been jerked around, all right, about Mickey 17, you know? It was delayed, and then it was delayed indefinitely. And then it was like, does this movie exist? You know? But over this week, CinemaCon was happening, and that gave us, and I think they showed like a little bit of something in there to like one of the panels or something. It's like very industry people, so it's not like a fan convention.
Which is rude, because like our emails are open.
Hello. Like, excuse me. I wanted to see Robert in that for like however, like the 5 seconds you showed.
My schedule's clear for CinemaCon.
Right, I'm ready. Let me in. But what it did give us is maybe the most tender photograph I've ever seen. Which is Robert stunting in a little Dior number.
This fucking 2000 prom-ass photo.
Yeah. And Bong Joon-ho just like, having like a little prom moment. And like every photo of Bong Joon-ho is the best, right? Like, the two Oscars kissing each other. That one's one of the all-time great photos ever made, right?
Tyra learned to smile from Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah. He's got a certain je ne sais quoi about him that is really mesmerizing in the photographic
Charisma
medium.
plus 10 from this
Right.
man.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's rolling on all fours here. And then Rob looks happy, which is rare and surprising. I kind of forgot that he could smile, It's been a minute.
He looks shockingly well rested.
Right, for being a new dad,
Right.
Like, his eyebrows look great. He's got like a little swoopy hair thing going on that I'm really into.
Listen, I know that you're like, wow, this is an audio medium and you're describing a photo. I wish that I could send this through the audio waves to you because it's going to fucking change your life.
Yeah. I want this as a full-size poster in my room.
They need to send this out in like they do with Amber Alerts. Like, this would change the emotional happiness of the nation.
Yeah.
This could heal people.
Yeah, we could all...
We need it.
Yeah, we need this. This will help
I mean,
the
we
nation.
need more...
This will help the world.
Right, exactly. This photo is the equivalent... I mean, it's not, but like, it's the equivalent of a stimulus check. You know what I mean? Like...
Right, yeah.
They just look so happy.
Yeah. God.
And it's very important to me.
Yeah. That was so important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone involved in this.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for constantly putting Robert in very large suits.
Yeah.
For no
Big
reason.
fan. Love it.
It was probably really cozy to be in. Very grateful. Thank you for your service. Hi. Okay. So last week, we got fucking gut punched with mommy issues.
Yeah.
So that wasn't great. We found out that Mason was a narc. Also not great. And was confirmed that Mason is Riley Beers to Catherine's Victoria. Glad that was confirmed.
Right, yeah.
This week, Plan B. How you doing?
I mean, we're hitting the sauce right now. I was gagged on multiple occasions during this episode. I was like, no
Were
way.
you gagged immediately because the episode started off with the script, or...
Right, yeah, I mean, it's always a little disarming, their musical choices of being like, okay, let's get into it. Strap in, motherfucker.
Sure.
It's like, okay, Jesus.
I mean, at least this one I feel like set the emotional tone right away, so I wasn't sucker punched.
Yes, yeah, it wasn't whiplash like last week, for sure.
Right.
It felt like these were all the things moving into place here, and the tone was reflecting of that. But there was also some wacky stunts going on in here. Some playing with with form and space and creatures that I was not expecting.
There was not a lot of wasted time.
No.
This episode.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
Which I can appreciate. I think that
Right.
that is necessary.
Right. And it's like we
especially
needed an update on Bonnie and Jeremy. We got both of them this episode.
Finally.
Which
God.
we're like, are they dead? Where are they? So that was very good because it's like, hey,
This
Bonnie,
was a
we need to have
stacked
conversations. Yeah.
Cast. Like, this was an episode with a full roster of characters.
Yeah.
And they were all important. Mm-hmm. Which doesn't usually happen when they've put the whole cast of characters in.
Right. Yeah, everyone had their own, like, actual storylines that meant something. It wasn't just like, I'm going on a date. It's like, okay. Like, you know. Cool. Like everyone was firing at all cylinders here, which was great.
And I will say, like, the writers, they pulled some shots this episode that I will say were obvious. Like, I called when they were going to happen this episode, but I don't think that that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think that the way that they happened made sense.
Yeah.
In the sense of, like, I was like, why is Jenna in this episode? Why is Matt in this episode? And when they ended up with the, like, twists, I was like, okay, I'm glad that occurred. Because if it hadn't, I would have been like, I don't understand. I would have come into this episode, been like, Jenna was a waste of time.
Yep.
Matt was a waste of time.
Yeah.
So I think that whoever was in the writer's room this episode, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, they were cooking for sure.
Because you intentionally thought ahead to the critiques I was going to have.
Right, you bested me.
So I appreciate you. Where
do we even start?
do we start with, like, on my figurative bingo board, we had another non-school related event. We had another fucking charity event this week.
Yeah, yes, we did.
It's another Lockwood charity event, which is Ms. Lockwood is always cooking up something. Yeah. They're preparing for a masquerade ball. This town's always up to something. Right. They never let these people rest.
No, it's like you are always in constant state of being recruited for some sort of event in progress or planned to be.
You know that, like, the crime statistics have to be really confusing because this town is always busy. Right. Like, in theory, if the youth are always involved with stuff, the community is always involved with stuff, you would think then, right, that, like, they wouldn't have time for crime. Right. So why are people dying? Like, why are so many people dying and getting into accidents and shit? So you know that, like, when they report this stuff to, like, their county and their state, they're like, what the fuck? We're trying all these preventative stuff. Like, do more charity events. And they're like, dude, you don't understand. Every day we have something going on.
Yeah, like, you don't know what it's like. Okay.
People are still dying. Yeah. It is a statistical anomaly.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
But they got masquerade masks for days. They got boxes full of this shit.
Yeah. They got all they're ready to roll.
Right.
They're sorting masks, they're tying them, they're organized. And listen, as someone who used to do that as a job, I do not envy.
Were you triggered?
Yeah, it was a little, I was like, hey, and every time there's, like, a masquerade mask or some sort of mask in a movie or a TV show, because they're the most basic ones, even if they're, like, a little sparkly or have something going on with them, I've seen all of them before. I know every single mask that's ever been on every TV show. So I'm like, yep, those are the ones you get wholesale that have, like, those shitty-ass ties that you have to hang up in a particular way, and it sucks. And everyone who wants to try on masks in a store will not tie them back up properly and just throw them onto racks like animals. So I don't envy the experience.
Painful stuff when we used to work retail on this show.
Yeah.
I don't miss it. Everyone started at this event, save Caroline and Vic is her name, the mom.
Oh yeah.
I had my guard up this episode.
For sure.
With those two. I was not going to be caught unawares.
Right. It's like, you can't fool me again. You can't trick me.
You tricked me once, I'm never going to let my guard down for this show ever again. Where do you want to start?
Oh gosh. I mean, there's so many.
Who's paying?
Ways. Yeah, who's paying for sure is the mood. I kind of want to take a Damon route, if you will.
Oh my god.
Because he does, like, kind of go through multiple different arcs here, or different people's plot lines, but I think throughout.
He's so nosy this episode.
He's incredibly nosy and also incredibly petty in this episode. because he is furious that Catherine is chilling with Mason. And he's like,
but he's fine. He's over it.
He's so fine. He's like, no, it's not because I'm jealous. It's because he's a surfer, and that's annoying. And he makes me annoyed.
She could do so much better, actually. It's just really embarrassing.
Right. Like, not me, though, but, like, better than a werewolf who also surfs. No, thank you. Ew, gross. So funny. And now is on this kind of, like, not even a side quest, a main quest to find this fucking moonstone.
Yes.
And Jeremy recruits himself to that cause. Being like,
that moment
let me
when
in.
Damon, because Jeremy goes to find Damon at the Salvatore house, and when Damon looks at Jeremy and says, your search for life's purpose is as obvious as it is tragic, it was the two of them working together, and they don't like each other.
Yeah.
But doing it because they both have this, like, common enemy was very important to me this episode.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then somehow, like, Rick is involved because he has, like, the boxes of knowledge was so wild.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, goodness.
And everyone keeps thinking that, like, Damon recruited Jeremy throughout this. Like, Stefan is pissed. He's like, why the fuck did you leave Elena's brother out of it? And Damon's like, listen, I don't even like this kid. I tried to kill him, remember?
Yeah.
He just won't leave me alone. It's so good. I love it so much. And they keep thinking that it's Tyler.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's the last thing that Jeremy knew. He doesn't know until, like, halfway through this episode that Mason has it.
Right.
Ruh-roh.
I love this. Like, I want them to be buddy cop duo, though. They know each other so bad. But
it's a very different energy than Rick and Damon as a buddy cop. Because they're just, like, two adults. They vibe. With Jer and Damon, it's like, we hate each other. Let's just get this done. And I respect that a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
There was that moment, because Damon, there was a switch that happens, because I don't know why Damon thought this. His spidey senses are so fucked. They keep thinking that Mason has the moonstone on him, ? Or, like, is going to give up the ghost of, like, where it is. Yeah. And I don't know why at some point Stefan didn't just text Damon.
Right. I was like, hey, bud, it's in the well. I'm looking for it. Don't worry. I got it.
These two, their inability to communicate with each other is going to be the death of them, but okay.
Yeah. And it's like Bonnie's out here texting Stefan the deets.
Literally.
Even though she doesn't want to, because she doesn't want any more pain and suffering between these people.
Oh my God, sidebar.
Yeah.
How did that old iPhone make you feel?
Oh my God. When I saw the notification, I got, like, full body chills. I was like, damn, those were so good. Those days were good. Those super round bubbles. And
when it still, like, fit in your hand.
Yeah. Oh.
That was back when you used to, first of all, but, like, that was when you still had to download an app for a flashlight, folks. Like,
oh my God, yeah. It's just the whitest screen on your phone.
I yearn for it so much.
I miss that curved little phone.
No, literally, like, it didn't sit flat.
Yeah.
And when you used it too much, it got hot.
Yep.
I miss it so much. I have like an iPod Touch that literally won't turn on. Every charger I bought for it just won't turn on. Yeah. But I just hold it sometimes because I miss it.
Just to feel something.
Literally just to feel something. But there was a point in this episode where I feel like Damon, like, a flip switched, where he went from being like, I'm going to get information out of you, to being like, oh, I'm just going to kill you.
Right.
Because you just, like, you're a dunce. Like,
right. Like, oh, you think Catherine is in love with you? LOL.
Yeah.
Because I thought that, and I was also a fool. So it definitely also applies to you, buddy. You're getting used. Sorry. Let me just rip your heart out of your chest.
So after and it was the Wolfsbane, right? Like Jared comes in with that box, and he's like, "Hey, so I went on att.net, like AT&T.net on my Samsung phone, just the easiest product placement they've ever done.
Yeah.
For Wolfsbane, and it looks like it's toxic." And you can tell, because Damon, again, totally fine, right? Like,
so
super healed, doesn't care about Catherine. Mason he realizes, like, Mason loves Catherine, and he knows that this is a curse. Catherine can get rid of this curse with the Moonstone. Again, Aztec curse, like Rick said. Sure, Jan. And Damon's like, well, I have a curse. I don't love Catherine. I love Catherine. And I know Catherine's going to kill you. So I'm just going to save you a couple steps, and I'm going to do it for you because I want someone to do it to me. I mean, what?
No.
No,
not me.
But him, like, shoving that Wolfsbane into his mouth was so unnecessary, Damon. Like,
yeah,
can you
the audacity.
The fuck out?
It's like, hey, bud, you've proven your point, okay? You don't have to, like, do all that. He's so unserious.
And him telling Jeremy, like, you need to get out. Like, you don't want to see this. Like, go take a walk.
Right.
He gave him a chance.
Yeah.
And Jeremy's like, no, I'm, like, a man. Like,
no, I'm, like, big and strong now, and I want to be part of this. Thank you.
And
You're
Mason
not my
knew.
dad, but are you?
Are you my dad? I know you killed me, but are you my dad?
Right.
And it's like, Jerem, hey, bud, Mason just looked you in the eyes and said, take care of Tyler. He knows he's not going to get out of this. What the fuck do you think's going to happen, bud?
Yeah, you just want to watch this, buddy? Is that
you
going to be fun for you? You sicko?
Hey,
you
homie.
Sick fuck?
Hey, homie, everyone that you've been around dies. What the fuck do you think's going to happen here, bud?
Yeah. Come on now.
Okay. All right, Jer. Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. Also, there were some great Damon and Bonnie moments in this.
Oh my god!
Really
I see why
chemistry there.
Okay?
I get it. I see it. I see the vision. You know, because Bonnie's very much like, I can't, but Damon's like, but what if for me? Ooh, for me?
And Stefan having to come back in and be like, he meant please, okay?
Right. Yeah. Right.
I know that it doesn't, his intonation isn't giving please, and he didn't say please.
Right.
And you kind of said it in a really threatening way, but he meant please.
Right. That's just how he says things.
And I know he just said witch in like a really derogatory way, but he meant please, Bonnie.
Right. That's just his name for you in his head. He said it out loud. And two, Bonnie being like, well, I've just been giving you mini aneurysms repeatedly because you annoy me so much. So slay. And then him being like, okay, bet. Thank you for that. Could it work on other people who are not vampires? Wink, wink. I love it. I love it.
I unfortunately do like them together.
Yeah, it's fucked up, but I love it.
And he did end up saying thank you. Like, after he
was a gentleman at the end.
After she tricked Mason and they got them in the truck and she let Damon tie him up, he did say thank you.
Yeah.
So,
hey, what more can you ask for?
We're getting progress, I'll say. Bonnie in this episode was so good, by the way.
Yeah, she was locked in.
The moments that she had with Elena, where it was like, listen, I know that I hate your boyfriend, and I hate your boyfriend's brother, and I try to kill them every chance that I get.
Right.
And I don't agree with anything that has happened with Caroline. But that doesn't mean that, like, you can leave me out of stuff. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't, like, not tell me things.
Yeah, it's like I'm feeling a little left out here. Come on now. I love that too. There was an Elena moment where like everyone, when she was like doing the masks and stuff, and everyone was like out doing their own thing in separate groups, and she's like, "Hey guys, I feel like you're all kind of hanging out without me. I kind of want to be part of this. Like I'm stuck in this fucking booth, making masks and selling masks. I don't like this. Can I be part of the fun? Thank you. Let me in."
So real. The moment with Bonnie, when she was in the Salvatore house and she like invited Caroline to go along was so cute.
Yeah.
I love them.
My babies.
Especially because like after that happened too, it was so funny because that was like when Stefan ran to the well, which I'm not done talking about. But then Elena came in. And I wasn't sure that was Elena, but it ended up being Elena. Right. And then Caroline, like, fucking zoomed over there. And Bonnie finally makes it over and is like, hello?
Right.
Caroline, you can't just fucking ditch me. I can't run as fast as you. And she's like, oh, yeah, shit.
Yeah. Imagine if there was, like, a spider monkey moment right then.
Oh, my God.
Between Caroline and Bonnie. That would be so good. Can someone... That fan fiction's been written, I'm sure, but...
I'll find it.
Yeah,
I gotta find it.
Just a little piggyback, you know? Just get over there. Don't make Bonnie run all the way over there. Just painting at the end of it, being like, oh my God, guys, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, it's just not fair that she's a witch. You guys can't leave her out of stuff. It's not fair.
Yeah. She doesn't have a broom, okay? Like, she's got human legs. Yeah, she's working with her, what she's got, all right?
Just give her a fucking breather, all right?
Yeah.
You're making her do all this stuff for you that she doesn't have the energy to be able to do something for her.
Yeah.
Okay?
She's got to put her mask on before others, you know?
For real. Also, speaking of Jeremy, there's a moment where Damon says that Jeremy's playing Indiana Jones. Elena also playing Indiana Jones this episode.
For sure. Playing that well was nuts. Because Steph was in there dying, essentially, because it's just full of vervain. It is full of the brim of vervain. And he's like, ugh, gasping, you know, not doing great, Bob.
These Salvatore brothers are so... I can't tell if it's because they're cocky or if they're just so dense. The fact that Stefan knows now, confirmed, that Mason is with Catherine because Bonnie showed that vision of him kissing Catherine. Why he would think, oh, Mason dropped... He's like keeping the moonstone in this well. Why would he think that it's just water? That Catherine has not set up a booby trap here?
Yeah. It's like, surely this will be fine. It's just a little well, you know? I just gotta jump in there and then pull myself right on back. It's like, buddy.
Do you not know Catherine?
Right.
She's going to do everything to make sure that she is okay and no one else. Like, she doesn't care about anyone else.
Yeah, she is priority numero uno, you know?
Right.
Come on.
You think that's not going to be Vervain?
Yeah. I will
and the
say,
fact
though,
that he was shocked, too.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, man, I got bested. It's like, yeah, but it kind of happens a lot. It's kind of your thing.
It was, like, very swiper, no swiping, and I was like, Stefan...
Yeah, come on. And then Elena gets in there, full Indiana Jones, fighting off fucking water snakes.
Absolutely fucking not.
No, thank you. I was like, I didn't know we were doing Bear Grylls shit over here. What the fuck?
No, literally, like, Bear Grylls in Converse.
Yeah, like... right, yeah. Right. It's like, she is not prepared for this? Holy crap.
But turns out she is. She doesn't give a flying fuck.
She did great. She was throwing those things out like it was nobody's business. It was nuts. And then, you know, sorry,
and then she has blood to spare, actually.
Yeah, and then she's like, I'm ready to roll. Let's go. Another round. But it was also so funny. I know it's sad to laugh at his misery and pain, but Stefan being pulled up out of the well like a rag doll was the funniest fucking image I've ever seen. I know he was like unwell and poisoned and
I mean, how many times has he died in this, like, season and change?
Right.
A lot.
But just the cut, the way it was just his body was so limp and he was just, like, not present it was very funny to me.
He's just a limp noodle of a man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's also wild. I mean, we still don't really know the scope of Bonnie's powers at this point. But the fact that it required blood and not Bonnie to heal him, I thought was interesting in that moment.
Yeah.
It was just, the logistics here are interesting to me. But whatever. Whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
So it is important to know at this volunteering event, Jenna's there. And for Elena and Stefan are still kind of pretending that they're fighting.
Yes.
Not as
doing
much
a great
as like
job.
last episode.
Yeah.
But like kind of.
Yeah. They've toned it down a little bit, and they're still like sneakily hanging out, but it's like, y'all gotta be careful here. You don't know what she's capable of. Come on.
Enough that like when Elena was sorting masks with Matt was like, I'm not even gonna fucking touch that. I'm not gonna ask.
Right. That's not my business.
And Jenna tried to invite Stefan over for dinner that night. And Stefan was like, Elena and I are kind of like taking a pause right now. And Jenna said something that broke me. Where she was like, oh, that's like so interesting that you say that you're on a break, because I heard you in Elena's room this morning. And Stefan was like, and Jenna said she's a light sleeper.
Yeah.
Which prior to the end of this episode, had the end of this episode not happened, would have fucking broke my brain.
Right.
Because
given all of the
given everything that we know about, like, where's Jenna been, everything that's happened in this house where Jenna has not responded, would have broken me. But there are still some questions to be had of like, what do you mean you're a light sleeper?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean? But okay, sure.
Yeah, I'll allow it, I guess.
I still have questions, but I'm gonna allow it. And then the other thing that is important to know is that because the fact that for the most part of this, Caroline and her mom didn't go to the volunteering. I thought that there wasn't going to be resolution, but we did get resolution for them.
Yeah.
At the end. So, choose your fighter. Caroline, Jenna, or Matt.
Oh, God, yeah.
Where do we go? Which one do you want to talk about first? Because they're all equally as painful to me.
Let's go, Caroline. Let's rip the Band-Aid off, you know?
So, it was tough at first to still see her mom not looking at her in the eye at the start of this episode. But then she did get a little curious of asking, like, so are you dead? Or what's up?
Like, what's the deal?
Right. And then they actually start talking.
Yeah.
And I knew it was going to be fucked up.
Yeah, this broke me because it was so nice, actually, and then it wasn't.
And that's what's fucked up about it, though.
And being like, oh my God, she's trying to understand her daughter, and she's obviously scared and confused and has preconceived notions, but tells her that, like, she sees a totally different side of her that she's never seen, of, like, confidence and, you know, strength and beauty and stuff. And that's, like, awesome. And you see this glimmer of, like, fuck yeah, maybe this could work. And she's like, you don't have to erase my memory. Like, I'm cool with it. We can just, like, pretend like I don't, you know, it'll take some getting used to, but I don't feel like, you know, you need to fully erase the record.
And Caroline even looks at her and says, like, we never talk like this.
Yeah.
And then I slammed my head into the concrete. Because you can see it in her mom's eyes of like, oh shit, like this is what bonding looks like. Yeah. I trust you. And you can see it in Caroline's eyes in that moment of like, you don't trust them.
Yeah.
So it's never going to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And seeing her cry as she compels her mom.
Evil work. Evil.
If I hadn't had my guard up from the jump of this episode,
yeah, would
have felt like last week, like would have just broken me. And I just want to know, like, who in the writer's room, like, what's your fucking damage?
Yeah. What do you have against us specifically?
Right, exactly. Like, what are you working through? And why? What do you have against me specifically?
Right. What did I do to you?
What did I do to you 14 years ago? Because it's rude and it's really fucked up. But here's the thing. Mm-hmm. I know that ultimately, like, this is going to keep Caroline safer. Yeah. It's going to keep her mom safer. But that doesn't mean that it's going to keep her happy. Yeah. Just like what happened with Matt, who we hadn't seen before this for like 3 episodes.
Yeah, he's been out of the plot since kind of the
breakup, who I hadn't cared about, but whose absence is now contextualized at the end of this episode, which I'm happy about. Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. So, that star of this episode, Damon, this call that he does to Catherine, how did that do you?
He is one thing, and that is petty.
And I love him for it.
Defining character trait. And even Stefan is like, please don't call. Please don't rub it in her face that you killed her boyfriend right now.
It's going to make everything worse.
Damon. And Damon's like, no, I got this. I'm really good at this. And I do
No, it's going to be great, Stefan.
It's going to be really good. I'm going to land all my bits and jokes, and she's going to think I'm really cool. So he calls her while, Mason's in a fucking body bag right next to him in the living room. And he's like, hey, from his phone too, might I add. And she's like, Mason, where the fuck are you? Like, you're supposed to be here an hour ago. And he's like,
a reservation at Outback. What the fuck, Mason?
Yeah, I wanted to get a nice juicy steak. What the fuck, man?
What about my bloomin' onion?
Yeah, God. And the way that Damon retorts with, oops, wrong boy toy, hilarious. He shouldn't have said that, but I'm very glad he did. He shouldn't have had this phone call at all, because it has rippling damage.
And it's the first time this show, save like the flashback of when Catherine got for the first time, that we've seen her off her guard.
Yeah.
That she got surprised.
And she's like, whoa, you actually, for the first time in your like 150 years of life, have surprised me. Which is like, damn, okay. But then, and Damon is, of course, very smug about this whole time, being like, haha, got you, lol.
Not thinking about consequences, ever.
Yeah, ever. And Catherine's like, oh, you fool. You don't think I have 700 backup plans in case this one weren't to work out?
She's so Scorpio coded, and I love her so much. It's so good.
And Damon's starting to realize, like, oh, whoopsie. I might have done a whoopsie here.
My actions have consequences.
Ooh, no. Oh, no. Well, thanks for calling. I'll see you later. Like, this good chat. Please don't come for anyone. And I know you're going to think, fuck, like shit.
And she says the worst 5 words ever. And because like Stefan can hear this, not only because they're in close proximity, but like he has his spidey sense turned on for once, which is send my love to Stefan. Which is not only rude to Damon because he finally did something to like catch her off guard, but is a like, watch out because now you're fucked.
Right. It's like, oh, you thought?
Oh, you thought I didn't have contingencies?
God. She's so evil. I love it.
I love her so much.
She's everything. She's the moment. And what she does to the other two people in this episode is diabolical. Because she's mad now. She's like, oh, I'm going to remind you. I don't want to be fucked with. Okay.
She goes to her, like, 1950s switchboard in this bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
And hits a couple of, like, her plan Bs and Cs. Which, by the way, I looked at the IMDb for this. It's the only piece of trivia on here says, Catherine says she's staying at a bed and breakfast run by a Mrs. Flowers. In the books, Mrs. Flowers runs the boarding house Stefan lives in.
Interesting.
So, 26 people liked it, so apparently it's true.
That is how it works, yeah.
The only other piece of trivia on there says that Damon stabs Mason. So I can't confirm that one's true.
That is trivia. That's good trivia.
I don't know that that's trivia so much as it's just like part of the plot.
Right.
But yeah, she like flips the switchboard for her plans B and C. Mm-hmm. And apparently these two motherfuckers aren't actually like physically wearing vervain.
The absolute audacity.
And again, my question comes back, why is this not in the fucking water supply?
Right. This all could have been dealt with if you know you have a vampire problem as a town, institutionally.
If the previous mayor, and now also the interim mayor, know that there is a legitimate problem with vampires, and that the vervain is not something that is going to, like, cause harm to people, why is it not in the water supply?
Oh, God.
Too simple. Too simple. Would have negated the whole series.
Right.
But now the dinner scene makes sense. Mm-hmm. So apparently Jenna doesn't wear it. She just sprays her perfume.
Yeah, she's got her classic Chanel No. 5 vervain perfume.
Well, no, okay, first of all, it's 2010, so it would have been that DKNY Apple.
Oh, you're so right. You're so right. Sorry. Yes. Okay. Thank you for your
Know your history. Know your history.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. That's contextual. At the time. You're right.
But Elena just comes in, and Rick and Jenna are there. Jer's apparently upstairs, listening to fucking MCR or whatever.
Sure, as one does.
As one does in 2010.
Yeah.
And Jenna, it's very important that Jenna is holding a knife. She's like slicing bread or whatever the fuck. Mm-hmm. And then gets a call. That phone made me so nostalgic.
My God.
I miss the home phone so much. Yeah. And it's Catherine.
Bum, bum, bum.
Being like, girl, did you have fun today?
Yeah. How was your day?
Do you have a good day?
I'm having a really great day, actually. You're probably going to have a really bad one in about 5, 4, 3. Like menacing.
And Miss Jenna is now Catherine's spy and has been for a couple days.
God. And like everyone in that house needs
Catherine's
to figure
in your
out
walls, bitch.
Security. Yeah, the call's coming from inside the house, literally. If you have a fucking doppelganger and your aunt is, or your, stand-in, like, caring figure, adult in the house, is not present enough to know if it's you or a clone, you need to figure out some shit inside. You gotta find your locksmith. You gotta befriend people that know how to build up shit in here, because this is getting out of hand. People are too easily sneaking in windows, sneaking out, pretending to be each other. I hate it. Come on, let's get into it.
Yeah, we need to get into. You need to be in a different home at this point that Catherine has not crossed the threshold of.
Yes,
but I mean, fucking who am I to say? But Jenna has decided that bread knife does not belong in the bread, but rather in her fucking appendix instead.
Right. It's like, actually, you know what? What if
Catherine has not spilled enough blood in that kitchen, actually.
Right. Yeah, let's just go wild. So that sucks. That was rough. That was brutal.
But she's fine. She's still alive by the end of this episode. She's apparently
she was very lucky, and she made it. It's all good.
Unfortunately.
Yep. Jesus Christ.
I'm just bored, okay?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but it's pretty fucked. And now everyone's like, oh, what if Catherine is actually good at what she does and knows what she's doing, and can fuck up all of our lives, even those people not directly within her line of fire.
I thought it was really interesting, though, at the hospital, because Jer is there, and he says she's gonna pay about Catherine. Like, he is now... Because earlier in the episode, he was like, fuck off, Elena. Like, you can't tell me what to do in regards to, like, working with Damon and figuring out what's going on with the Lockwoods. But now he is very much, like, he's decided he's going to fight Catherine. And it's like, girl, I mean, okay, sure.
Right.
I mean, if anyone can do it, I guess it's you. But I think that's beautiful. I'm going to be honest with you. When Elena walked into the Salvatore house, I was like, why the fuck of all people is Stefan crying? Like, why do you care about Jenna?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, they're going to, like, for real break up this time. Yeah. Got it.
And
but I was like,
hey, let's actually... Yeah, it's like, you don't care about Jenna.
Yeah, I was like, why are you making this about you? Like, I don't...
Right.
Stop.
And it's like, oh, you're realizing that your relationship needs to end because Catherine's going to actually kill everyone that Elena loves. And
even though you just said, like, 2 episodes ago, like, we're not going to let her win.
Right. It's like, she's no big deal. It's like, I think you misunderstood the situation here, you guys.
Catherine
and look what
is,
happened.
Like, a very big deal, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't care when they broke up.
Yeah.
Couldn't have cared less, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was time. Past time, actually.
So past time. You know what I did care about? Damon taking the blame.
Yeah, he's so... I hate him.
I hate him so much. I hate him trying to catch her as she walks out the door and being like, don't blame Stefan. I'm the one who did this, actually. You can hate me because I know you already hate me or whatever.
God. Enough.
And then it ends with Catherine being like, so Matt, go kill yourself.
Right.
I mean, he's not, like, he's trying to get Tyler to trigger his curse. Is
right.
What she's actually trying to do.
Yeah, and him being like, even if it kills me, I'll do it. Oh, hello.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. What a way to end it. Someone's having a good day.
You know what it is? Everyone keeps asking Catherine, like, why'd you come back? I think her real thing is she wants to, like, kill everyone on the football team. Like, I think she has a real vendetta like against high school. Right. No, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I think that she just doesn't agree with the idea of football and how many head injuries that it causes, and so she's just decided to, like, cut it off at the pass by killing them instead.
Yeah.
And I don't listen.
Hey, you know, it's a girl boss move for sure.
Right. I think that the execution of it is good? No. Do I disagree with her point? Also, no.
Right. So, yeah, you gotta hand it to her, you know.
Listen, is the plot of Bottoms wrong? No. So, like, here's the real thing. I just don't think that Catherine's wrong. It's just kind of
saying
where
your
I'm
truth, you know?
Right. That's just where I'm at. I'm afraid when we get to episode 7.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about masks. This was like the whole plot of 50 Shades.
Right. Yeah, and you were very strong during that.
And you were also very strong having worked during, like, having worked in retail with masks at that time.
Sure, yeah. We were both braver than the Marines. And I think we can do it again.
Having not seen this episode, I have seen this photo of Elena before.
Yeah.
This feels very iconic to me.
Yeah, I feel like this was all over Tumblr, for sure.
If I had seen a minor looking like this for a volunteer event, I would have gone full, no.
Yeah.
Like,
nothing for Jesus. Come on.
No, literally. Like, with a spray bottle. Like, absolutely not. I'm just very nervous. I'm nervous that they're going to start playing Ellie Goulding for episode 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we get Ellie Goulding or a Sarah Bareilles song next episode, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. Jumping out the window. I can't.
We have some amazing patrons. Do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Maya Bennett.
Ooh, thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Pew. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh, thank you to Katya Karp.
Ow. Thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Ooh, thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh, thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ow. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh, thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ow. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Emily O'Zara.
Ooh, I'm so glad that we talked about this episode. I have a fan fiction for you.
Okay.
That I'm like almost certain that I have not read this yet. This is by the author Vicky Blue Eyes. It is titled Blind Date. And the summary is AU up to episode 116. What if Bonnie won the date with Damon? This is there's only one chapter from this. Some of the guys were cute, most were not. Then she noticed something. Alaric was standing next to Damon Salvatore. He wore a black blazer over a black button-up shirt, and boy, did he look good. His hair was messy, as if he hadn't brushed it in days, which suited him. You didn't tell me Damon was one of the guys, Bonnie said to Elena. Elena shushed her friend, because the announcer was calling off numbers. Matt Donovan's mom won a date. There were a few numbers to go and only Damon left. Bonnie relaxed in her chair. I'm not worried. There were about 10 tickets left and one guy. I'm going to the bar to get a drink. Want something? Elena shook her head and Bonnie got up. And the winner is 54343. Come on up and win your date with Mr. Salvatore. There was a clamor amongst the crowd. Everyone looked around and no one claimed the date. Elena looked over at Bonnie's seat and saw the ticket on the table. Bonnie, you won, she said as Bonnie sat down at the table with her virgin strawberry daiquiri. What? Damon sauntered off the stage with a smirk upon his face. He reached for Bonnie's hand and placed a kiss upon it. How delightful, he said, and smiled a rare smile. Bonnie recoiled her hand in disgust and rolled her eyes. Stefan walked up to Elena and Bonnie's table, wearing his usual leather jacket over a gray shirt and black pants. He whispered something in Elena's ear, and Elena got up. I gotta go. Catch you guys later. She smiled and waved. Wait, what? Bonnie got up. Damon was still standing and moved closer to her. Don't worry, I'll be the perfect gentleman, he replied. That's what I'm afraid of, Bonnie confessed and sat back down. Now that it was just the two of them, Damon leaned in. Want to get out of here? Maybe go someplace quieter? End scene.
Dang. Okay.
The idea of the two of them is getting better as we go on, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah. I'm very, I'm into it.
Especially now that she has powers, so I feel like it's a little bit more even between the two of them, which I'm excited about. Yeah. Well, friends, it is always a perfect time to tell your friends about the show.
Yeah.
And please send over your backstories. Send over fan fiction for us. And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
Ooh.
Ow.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/intothetwilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.